Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ladies Room Talk Show. I'm Clarissa Kenty, your kingdom concierge. Happy Monday to you. We're having a great day here in Birmingham, Alabama. We have several people from different states and cities that hang out with us inside the Ladies Room every single Monday night. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I always like to talk about the weather here in Birmingham. It's a little cloudy, but it's beautiful. The weather's nice. It's a slight overcast, but it's really beautiful. So before we jump into introducing our guest for tonight, and certainly he is no stranger to the Ladies Room Talk Show, he's been in the Ladies Room before. But before we jump over there, I want to talk to you about someone who is very special to me, and I need your help. I need your help with this. D Smooth is on The Voice. He's on the finale tonight. He needs our vote. Vote. It's going to be open all night tonight, and they may be on now, but it's going to be all night tonight. So you can go ahead and cast your vote and get that vote out there. We want to get out there and celebrate young people who are doing amazing things. D Smooth is around 25 or 26, and he is just making it. He's really doing a great job, and I'm so proud of him. I had an opportunity to be in two plays with him here locally at Encore Theater under the direction of Mark Raby, who owns that theater, and he wrote those two stage plays for us. So I had an opportunity to be in the play or two with D Smooth, and so I know his talent, and I know his hustle, and I know his grind, and he is certainly worth all of our votes. So please go out there to The Voice and vote for D Smooth. Vote for D Smooth. He needs our support, and he needs your vote. So get out there and vote. So tonight, guys, I want to talk to Barry McNealy. Barry McNealy is the educational specialist at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute here in Birmingham, Alabama. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is coming up June 19th. And of course, we typically celebrate it on that Saturday or on the weekend. And so there is a great event that's going to be taking place this weekend. It's going to be at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. And Barry is here to talk about that. And then we'll talk about a few more things that the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute is hosting this summer for events and great opportunities for us to learn more about. So Barry, welcome back to the Ladies Room Talk Show.
Thank you, Clarissa. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so I see you had a great time in the ladies' room, obviously, because you're back.
The title of the show, you could go on and on with that.
Yeah, we can. We'll just leave it right there. We'll leave it right there. But now you can tell your wife, hey, I know exactly what goes on in the ladies' room. I know why you take so much time now.
There you go. That's another one I could use.
That's it. So, Barry, let's just jump right on in. You know, you are what I call an educational buff. Any question that I need to know about anything, I can ask you and you have an answer. And if you don't have an answer, you'll work hard to get it. So it's an honor to have you back inside the ladies' room and to talk about Juneteenth. I'm sure there's some people who are on the show tonight or who will go back and watch it later and don't really know quite the history of Juneteenth and what it's all about. So I'm going to bring you full screen. And so let's talk a little bit about Juneteenth and the history behind it.
Okay, so when we talk about Juneteenth, we talk about the formal end to chattel slavery in the United States of America. And when we use this word chattel, that means as a property, like a cow or a horse or something that you own. And human beings were owned in this fashion in the United States of America from 1619 forward. And when we consider the enslavement of human beings, this is going to last from before the United States of America as a country all the way to 1865. And you're going to have in that time period, there are going to be well over 12 million human beings kidnapped and transported through the triangle trade from Africa to the Americas. And most of these people, when they were transported, they didn't come here to the United States where we live. They were taken to the Caribbean, and they had this idea of slave breaking, where they would basically physically and mentally break a human being down to the point where they would be domesticated, and they would be in a situation where they could really be enslaved. And this awful system that we lived with as a nation, this country was born with it. When the Declaration of Independence was penned by Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson quite hypocritically wrote an entire paragraph on the evil of slavery and how King George was forcing the 13 colonies to participate in the slave trade. And when the Revolutionary War ended, they were able to declare independence from King George. They were able to create a republic that was for and supposedly by the people. But when we look at the preamble to the Constitution of this new nation, that preamble says, in order to form a more perfect union. And those words, more perfect, were selected because those founders knew without any question that the union was far from perfect. And the greatest imperfection that it was dealing with was the idea that millions of Africans, and by now we can call them African Americans, were being enslaved in this country. And so what's going to have to take place is a second war of independence. And this time it's not the 13 colonies fighting against Mother England and King George. This time it's going to be the United States of America, and they're going to be fighting for independence from King Cotton. You see, the Constitution of the United States had made a window for the ending of slavery. At the turn of the 19th century, so-called civilized countries around the world were ending the slave trade. And there is a clause in the United States Constitution that said that it would be protected for a generation after the signing of the Constitution that would have ended slavery in the United States in 1808. But the thing that happens between 1793 and 1808 is the cotton gin was invented. And the cotton gin changed everything. And slavery had an entire new life in the United States of America because of the financial gain that it created. When we talk about enslavement and we talk about after the invention of the cotton gin, we have to understand that the United States of America produced 3/4 of all of the cotton that was being used during the first industrial revolution. 3/4 of all the cotton on the face of the earth that was going into the textile industry was being produced right here in the United States. by the ancestors of African Americans. And this is big money. And this King Cotton took over the politics of this country. And until the Civil War was finally fought in 1865, King Cotton had a stranglehold on this country. Literally, the United States Congress passed an ordinance that was called the Gag Rule that prohibited members of Congress from even discussing ending slavery in this country. And so we were really living up under another king. And that king had to be taken down. That king had to go away. You know, when we start considering the effects of slavery, we also realize that over 60%, and that's the majority, of all the United States exports were wrapped up in cotton. And I don't mean like wrapped up in cotton, I mean they were cotton. 60% of our exports was cotton. So the wealth that this country amassed, it amassed through this enslavement. And it's going to be very hard to take that down. But it is going to be taken down with the American Civil War. And 4 million African Americans are going to walk into freedom with the passage of the 13th Amendment. But it wasn't quite that simple. You see, again, that King Cotton is found in a hard way to die. You have some people who are maintaining people in the system of enslavement, even though the Emancipation Proclamation had determined that if they didn't free anyone enslaved in their state, if their state was in rebellion to the Union, by the 1st of January in 1863, then those people would be forever free. Southern states totally ignored that order. But then you also had Southern states, especially Texas, that ignored the passage of the 13th Amendment and still refused to allow people to be free like this country had fought for, because they wanted these people to continue working. They wanted to at least get one more crop out of them, and they wouldn't let them free. And so the United States Army, under the direction of General Gordon Granger, is going to go to Galveston, Texas. And when he arrives there on June the 19th, he's going to read Special Order number 3. And when he reads this order, it is basically a reminder, so to speak, that these human beings are no longer to be held in bondage, and that needs to stop immediately. And when this was read and it was spread out to the people in the area who had been shielded from the knowledge of their freedom, when they found out they were free, they began to celebrate. And they celebrated for days on end. And so it wasn't just June 19th, it was just several days. And that's how it came to have the title Juneteenth. But when I look at Juneteenth, I look at it as America's second Independence Day. It's when we truly became independent of things that were controlling us beyond our means.
Wow, that was very well said. I was able to kind of journey through with you as you were talking about various instances and situations and names. And I'm a very visual person, very. So I'm seeing all of this stuff taking place. I'm seeing him read, and I'm just going through all of this stuff as you're laying everything out so beautifully. And and it's sad that we as African Americans don't celebrate it as much as we use as we should. I am seeing more within the last 10 years. I'm seeing more intentionality of celebrating Juneteenth, getting out and doing what we do, the barbecues, the festivals, and all of the great events that we need to do in order to celebrate the end of slavery. Why do you think, Barry, that we're so accustomed to put all of our barbecues, and it's more than just that, but that's just how we celebrate. Our barbecues are grilling out, going in and hanging out with family and friends and the fireworks and all of that. Why do we still put so much, Barry, into that day as opposed to really putting a lot into Juneteenth, we as a people?
Well, I would say that it's because of the socialization of African Americans living in this country. For so long, the history and the contribution of African Americans in this country has been obscured, marginalized, uh, flat out erased, or even lied about. And when you are the product of an educational system, and not just an educational system, but an overall zeitgeist that does not appreciate your history and your culture. The governor in Florida has said out of his mouth that a course in advanced placement African American history has no educational value.
Hmm.
I mean, you got to chew on that for a second. We're talking about not just history, but advanced placement history focused on African Americans, but it has no educational value. And he's not by himself, sadly. It would be great if he were just one person standing on the beach trying to hold back the tide. But over our history, for example, organizations like the United Daughters of the Confederacy, they created the myth of the Confederacy. They created this myth of the Solid South and how you know these people who fought for the Confederacy were these romantic heroes that we should all hold in high regard. And you've had so much like that in our history that sometimes it's really hard for people to um, really appreciate how much has been missed. For example, and not to drone on, but when we talk about this, it makes me think about reparations.
Hmm.
And you don't have a strong voice or an outcry for something that African Americans are not only due, but they're overdue.
Hmm.
Uh, if you and I met up in traffic this afternoon and I ran into your car, I would be profoundly apologetic for doing it. And even though your insurance company tells you not to apologize, I know you. So I would say, Clarissa,
Right,
I'm sorry.
right, right.
But in the end of the day, that sorry is not going to mean a whole lot if your fender's hanging off. You want your car repaired.
Right, right.
You're going to want to exchange insurance information or make some kind of arrangement. And that's all reparations is. It's a harm was done, and the person or the people that were harmed should be repaired for that harm. And so when we start thinking, I think most people don't realize, because you asked me why, and I think most people don't realize that When we think of the enslaved people in the United States of America, Clarissa, as of 1850, those people were worth more than all of the farms, factories, ports, and banks in the United States of America combined.
Wow.
And when you talk about farms and factories, and that's your infrastructure, they were worth more than the entire investment in this country combined. And in 1865, they walked away from that value with not one penny. And so it's no wonder that when we look today and we see the vast gap between white wealth and African American wealth, that exists. It's not something that just came out of whole cloth. As my cousin would say, anything that starts wrong can't end right. And so when we start studying Juneteenth and we start looking at that history, we have to consider those things.
So what do you guys have planned for us for Juneteenth? I know typically there's so much fun and opportunities for people to get to know each other, to fellowship, to hang out, to learn history, because there's usually people out there who are talking you can ask questions about. So, where is it going to be this year, Barry? What time will it start? What are the time frames and what can we expect?
Well, last year we called it the backyard boogie, and we had so much fun in the backyard that we decided to stay in the backyard. So we're going to have a stage in the rear of the Institute. We're going to have streets blocked off. We're going to have the parking lot is going to be transformed into a STEAM children's village where kids can come out and enjoy themselves, but also learn at the same time. We will have food trucks that will be covered for a short amount of time during the day. And you have to come and register. But if you come and register, you can go to the food trucks on the Institute. And the trucks are important because our theme this year is going to be come to the cookout.
All right.
And make sure you're invited.
I love it. Barry, what I like about what you guys are doing is I came to another event that the Birmingham Civil Rights did. My daughter was performing, and you guys paid for our food for the food trucks. And so what that did is it gave me an opportunity to try some new things on the Institute. So I tried. It was a vegan food truck that was there, and she made some hot dogs, but they were vegan, and the hot dogs are made out of carrots. And so I was like, you know what? Hey, the Institute's paying for it. I can try this, and if I don't like, I can throw it in the trash, and I won't feel so bad, But but I was able to try it, Barry, and it was amazing. I was mad because I felt like the hot dog wasn't big enough, and I didn't have enough to eat. It was really, really, really good. And we were fed. We were able to get something to eat, get something to drink, and I think we're able to get a dessert all on the Institute. And so I thought that was pretty cool. It shows that you are community based and you have the community in mind. And so we really, from a community standpoint, thank you guys for doing that, because you certainly don't have to. And listen, guys, just for a short period of time. Now, Barry was very clear about that. So if you want to be able to enjoy the food trucks on their dime, you probably want to get there early and just be there to fellowship and have a good time. I know that anytime you guys are putting some things together, I really have a good time. And it's very much first class. So you have your food trucks, you have some vendors that are going to be out there as well. Now, is this going to be said something about a stage? Now, Barry, are we going to get some entertainment? Janet Jackson coming? What? Who's coming?
I'm not quite sure Janet's going to come back to the Institute for Juneteenth, but if she wants to come, she's more than welcome. So I'm putting it out here right now in the ladies' room so that if she sees, she's more than welcome. We'll make room for Janet because she's always
Yes.
invited to the cookout.
That's right. Hey, see, exactly. So, guys, go ahead and take this live and put at Janet Jackson to let her know she has a personal invitation to the cookout on the 17th at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute.
Clarissa, thank you so much.
This is going to be great. What time does it start on the 17th, Barry?
Going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're
Okay.
going to run until 4 o'clock in terms of the entertainment, and the galleries will close at 5 o'clock. And I also should mention that the galleries are open to tour that day, and they're open to the public free. And so that's a thing that people really should take advantage of.
Mhm. I think that'll be great. Now, Barry, you mentioned a while back a membership, that there's a membership that's available and you can become a member of the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. Guys, I think this will be a great opportunity to go ahead and become a part of that membership. What does that look like, Barry, for someone who wants to become a member of the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute?
Well, they would just go to our website, bcri.org, and they would be prompted how to become a member of the Institute. And once they, for a nominal fee, by the way, and once they become a member of the Institute, for the purchase of their membership, they get advanced information about exhibits that are opening. There are member-only events that we have. There are discounts on different things that they can purchase. But all of that's wonderful and all of that's great. But the most important part of a membership is you're supporting the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. And it we talk a lot about, what we don't have and what we would like to have. But there are those times when, we're asked to contribute. And being a member is a very wonderful way to contribute to the Institute and the programming and the things that go on there.
So you mentioned a minimal fee. That fee, is that paid annually or is it a one-time fee? Is it a monthly service fee? What does that look like?
It's an annual fee, and
Okay.
and so you could sign up, and there are different levels, and every year you can renew that.
Okay. Very good. So it's going to be, guys, the kickoff to the cookout that Barry has personally invited us all to attend. The cookout will be Saturday, June 17th. It will start at 10 o'clock a.m. All of the entertainment will run on through till 4 p.m. and then the gallery will close at 5 p.m. Did I get it right thus far, Barry?
You got it perfect.
Wonderful. So vendors, if somebody wanted to be a vendor or if you have someone listening tonight who has a food truck, how can they become a part of this event?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, Clarissa. They just want to call the Institute at 205-328-9696, and they would want to speak with Charles Woods or Michelle Craig.
Okay. So guys, those of you who have products, services, you want to be a part of this, which I recommend you do, be a part, become a vendor. If you have a food truck and you want to be a part of this, guys, be a part of this. I think this will be a great initiative. It's going to be a lot of fun being out at the cookout. What better way to bring your food truck out and to be a part as we celebrate Juneteenth? I'm excited about this, Barry. I'm excited about what you're doing out there at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. What's going to be taking place on Juneteenth? We want to be in the building on that Saturday. Now, Barry, before we close tonight, what are some of the things that you're offering this summer at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute?
Well, this summer we're currently working on a program to honor Sally Ride, and we're trying to do that on the 21st of June, which is the equinox. But she's the first African American female in space, and we're trying to honor her. And we also have our Legacy Youth Leadership Program. These are students that we recruit from around Jefferson County, from the different high schools, and these students study for 13 weeks. In fact, they're doing it right now They study for 13 weeks through the spring. And then in the summer, these students are docents. And so they provide guided tours. People who want to come to the Institute maybe want to have a personal touch as they're walking through. And we're very proud of them. And we really want people to come out and get the chance to see how very bright and engaging these young people are.
Very good. So guys, you want to come out to learn more about this and other things that the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute is offering, go out to their website. The whole itinerary is there to get signed up, because I think you do, even though the event is free on the 17th, you need to go ahead and do you register before getting there, Barry, or do you have to be in person to register?
Well, if you're a vendor or something like that, you have to register before. But if you're just a visitor, you need to register that morning when you come. And that's a part of how you'll get your voucher to go to the food trucks.
Okay. All right. Very good. Guys, it's going to be great. Be sure to put this on your calendar. I'm going to be putting it on my calendar, so I will have it. So I will be out there, and hopefully we can go live and talk a little bit and see what's going on and check out some of the vendors and the food trucks and just really get involved with what's going on out there. So Barry, before we end tonight, you know how we do it. I love if you would have an encouraging word to share tonight. And Barry, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. This is, we are recognized Mental Health Awareness Month. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. And that there's some people who are having some challenges emotionally, psychologically. Do you have a word of encouragement for those people who may be having some challenges within their lives right now, who may be considering giving up or feel like it's not worth going on? I'm going to pull your full screen. And if you could share with the listening audience a few words of encouragement.
Well, one of the reasons that we study history is that has happened will happen. And my mother would say, so natural, so spiritual. And so we know that history repeats itself. And we know that in the Bible it says that there's nothing new under the sun. And I'm laboring on this idea of repetition to develop a cycle, to say that life is cyclical. Sometimes things are not going to be what you want them to be, but you'll get through that. And history shows us that we've been in situations and we made it through those times. And then we're challenged again. And this is what happens, is that we're challenged, but we overcome those challenges. And we have to remember that no matter what we're faced with, there's something within us that we've already been through or our ancestors have been through that shows us that we can win the day, no matter what that day is.
I like that. We can win the day no matter what that day is. I like that. I like that, guys. So, please tell someone, check on folks, see how they're doing. If they're quiet, it's not because they're mad at you or don't like you. It may be just they have some things going on and just needs someone to talk to. So
Very much.
Check on your friends, check on your loved ones, check on the strong folks, those of you who are always helping you and you think they don't ever need help. Check them out, make sure they're okay. Barry, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight inside the Ladies Room Talk Show and just taking out time from your family. Tell your family we appreciate them so much for sharing you with us tonight. And we're going to look forward to seeing you Saturday on the 17th for Juneteenth. I'm going to be there at 10 so I can go ahead and get my, get my stuff together for the food trucks,
Yeah, we understand.
You understand? Do you understand, Barry? And I'll bring your buddy Ernest with me. We'll be right there front and center.
Sounds good to me.
I'll see what Allison says. I'm all about the food truck. And she is. So she'll probably be right there with me at 10 as well. So again, Barry, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. And we'll look forward to seeing you on this Saturday. And everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us inside the Ladies Room Talk Show. Go ahead now and share this post with your network of friends because we need to know what's going on Juneteenth. It's going to be a cookout, guys, and you're invited and your friends are invited. Share this so that they can get an understanding, number one, the history and the background of Juneteenth, and then secondly, so they can learn more about how they can become involved at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute at the cookout, honey. The cookout, you don't want to miss it. The cookout is going to be live and it's going to be hot. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. Be safe and stay the course. Good night.